Howdy everybody. Welcome to the front row seat. Well, I'm here on the front row seat and I've been having to think about something that was really interesting. Here we are at the beginning stages of the digital age. Going into a new age. It's coming in faster than any of the other ones, it looks like. The digital age. The age of information. We got information war. We have information everything. And at some point, it was going to come a time when more thought was going to be put into what's going on with that. Kitty, kitty. So I was thinking about what kind of ways would the new technologies coming in affect my life as I go through this space, this new space. And then if I kind of superimposed on that a pattern of I am energy, my focus is my energy, and where I'm focusing affects my reality. So, started thinking about that. Remember, I'm from the deep south, so it's a little bit more conservative here, but it still is the same, I think, anywhere you are. So looking at it through the lens that you are chi energy, your focus is where your energy goes. And I noticed that in the Internet of Things, as I'm looking at different things there, I noticed that there's something, going on that I wasn't aware of really. And it's this, if you don't know that your energy and your focus is how you create your reality. Now, this is just an experiment, thought experiment too. So if you look at it as where I focus, that's where my energy goes. It doesn't matter how I feel, positive or negative, that's where my energy's going. See, and that's why some people just like to make people mad, because then they've got their energy. Well, if they get mad at them, then they don't. It doesn't matter that it's negative, because that's how you feel. It's just energy, and they're getting bursts of energy every time you get mad at them. That's in the new theory I'm thinking about. So, take that example and put it into going on to the internet and going to social media, and you're looking at things that's not making you think about what you're doing. You're just totally entertained by it. It's kind of all encompassing. Then I kind of stumbled across this one thing as I watch people on there, just observing what's going on. I see on there people thinking things and saying things to other people that nobody would say, especially where I'm at, that nobody would say to anybody's face. Because if you did say some of those things directly to other people, there would be instant consequences. And it's kind of part of how we all had, you know, these consequences that we had. Well, if you walk up to someone in a grocery store and start screaming at them, and being mean, you would have instant consequences. You'd either be taken to jail if you're disturbing the peace. It was just part of the culture, where when you're out and interacting with people in your day, that you treat people that are around you respectfully. Not like respectfully, like, oh, well, you've got to earn respect and all that, but just not attacking anybody. And kind of, minding your business type deal. And that's kind of how things work where I'm from. And what I've noticed lately is we'll be somewhere, then you'll hear voices raised, and it's just like, what's going on? So I thought, oh no, this may be what's happening. What if you've got people that are angry and they want to be angry at other people? That's kind of giving their energy away. But what if they're a really angry person, and then you can go on the internet and just be mean to everybody and attack people, even though you don't even know who they are or anything about them? You're just attacking because they may not think the same way you do. And then you do that for day after day after day after day. So what it would do is, you take an angry person, throw a little bit of internet on them, then that's going to make them a angrier person, because that energy is going to start getting momentum. So now you've got the more angry people in the culture going around. They're getting into habits that it's okay to just attack anybody you want to verbally, and then they get more angry because some people do, attack back. So now you've got a war. So what if the information war is really people becoming conditioned to go and just say whatever they want to whenever they want to? Now you've got people that are in a place where they're being conditioned to think and be more negative. Well, that would kind of match what I see happen around me. I see people that just have no filter, and it's new, and that's probably why I noticed it. Is people doing things that they've never done before in public spaces. And I think with every new technology, there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be a learning curve, because if you don't know anything about it, well, you don't know that it could potentially make you into a super angry. If you're already an angry person, it can make you into a super angry person, and change your whole vibration, change the quality of your energy, basically de-evolve into a more chaotic state. So there they would be on the computer, You don't like something that you see. So you get in there and you start slinging sarcasm and anger at someone you don't even know. And you do that for a couple hours a day. Then you go to your next day, and then you do that for a couple more hours that day. And I am pretty sure you're going to focus yourself into a way that's extremely negative. And then when you go out into the world, that's all you're going to see. But here's the thing. You're focused in a negative way. And wherever you go focus your energy, whether it be good or bad, it doesn't matter. That's just coming from you. Now, if they take it as a negative energy, then maybe that could affect them in a negative way. Maybe just adding to it, adding to what they already got. So what that would do is you're focusing your life energy into a negative way, which doesn't feel good, and you're giving your energy to all of those places that you don't like. Because whatever you're focused on, the information around that, whatever, I call it an IP address. You create this IP address, then you go focus there, and then as you're focused there, that's right where your energy's going. And so what that would do, that would give energy to things that probably would be best ignored. It's the same thing, if you think that you have good health and that your health gets better every day because you're learning and growing, you know what to do in the changing world. So your health's getting better every day, and that's how you're focused on that IP address, which would be your health. Or you could focus on that IP address and think, oh, this is wrong. Oh, that's wrong. Oh, no. And have fear around your health. Then that's what's going to manifest. I do know that one's true because I have done that. I've been here 60 years. I've done a few things, and that was one of them. And I had to change what I was thinking. And I didn't know it at the time, but I was switching my focus from being unhealthy to being healthy. Because that's what my energy was doing. Where I was focusing, that's what it was creating. And I don't know all of it. I just know what my experiments and the things I've experienced. That's all I have to go on. But I just thought it was really, really interesting that it doesn't matter if you're upset or not. Wherever you focus, that's where you're putting your energy. So you're putting your energy in all these spaces out into the interwebs that you think that you don't have any connection to. You're not connected to it because, well, it's just something I saw on the internet. Well, if you were there, you were focused there, you were putting energy there. And I really like the computer analogy of the IP address. So anywhere you're focused, just label it an IP address. And throughout your day, if you have an experience happen, you can say, well, wonder where this came from. And what I say to myself is, how does this feel familiar? And I'll give an example. For instance, I had an experience, happened just yesterday, as a matter of fact. And I have a big dog, and he went in, and I make lavender oils and things like that. It's kind of like my medicine chest, but it's kind of a natural medicine chest, and that's how I keep myself healthy. So he went in and he pulled it off the counter and dropped probably, I don't know, looked like half a gallon of oil, and it went everywhere. It was all over the floor. It splashed up on the walls. It was just one of the biggest messes I've seen in a long time. So I walked in, which usually, something getting spilt, I don't cry over spilt milk. Usually you just look and get the towel and clean it up. After 60 years of this, you know stuff spills. And then I just felt this thing come up, and I was like, this feels a lot bigger than some spilt oil. So I'm gonna go in here, and I wrote down IP address. And I thought, this feels familiar. What is this familiar with? And I sat there for a minute, and I said, yeah, I know what this feels like. This feels exactly how I felt growing up. I had an older disabled sister. Now, this was 60 years ago. They would probably name it, not severe, but some form of an autism. She didn't understand certain things, and when you're just a child, you don't know what's going on, so you just think that, this other person is doing stuff to you. So anything I had, or anything I wanted, or anything I was doing, she would get into my things and destroy them. So on that IP address, I had a lot of things around, my personal belongings being broken or messed with, or see, I had some things around this IP address that had to do with my sister, and how when I was young, I was struggling, and we had a lot of things happen in my family, so there wasn't really anyone there to help me in the situation I was in, dealing with a disabled sister who was not being kind all the time, and because she was frustrated too. So I looked at that, and I wrote down the IP address, and I was able to really, it's like, okay, how does this feel? It doesn't feel good. And so I just went into that IP address, and I looked at the information there. And what I found is, there's some things I probably needed to clean up in there, because I intellectually know that it wasn't anybody's fault. It was just something that happened, and I understand now that my sister. She's an innocent, and she doesn't know that she's causing, problems for other people when she's, not focused on what she's doing, and she wants what you're doing. She did grow out of some of it, but it took a long time. So I looked at that situation and thought, okay, that could be, the energy that is at that IP address that I put there because I was there focused on those experiences. The energy that was at that IP address was not something that I wanted. And that's probably how some things like that were getting manifested, because I could see where I had a lot of that happen, where something is mine and then it gets, broken or damaged in some way. And I figured, I saw, oh, well, that energy that had been put there by me as energy is still there. It didn't go anywhere. It's still there at that address. So when I get an experience in my reality that probably is coming from the energy of that, then that same energy is probably what's helping these experiences manifest. So I went in there and I cleaned some things up. I felt my way through it, and I just stayed there at that IP address until I felt better, until the anxiety and everything had gone away, because I knew that there was too much emotion there, and I got upset over something that normally would not upset me. But because it was mine, it was and I just made a new oil, and I'd made a few new things, and so I just finished it that day. That's probably why he was interested in it. My dogs do stuff all the time, and I don't get upset. I just either, if they make a mess, I clean it up. I don't get upset at them. They're just being dogs. And if I left something out, it's not on them, it's on me. I did it. So I just fix it. So I really think that this is how this loop thing is happening, is that wherever I focus, that's where my energy's going. There's places that I've focused that are negative. There's places that I've focused that are not. But I just thought it was really interesting how that charge, that, and you can just feel it come up in you, and I just noticed it, and it's like, wow, that feels like my fingers in a light socket. What is this? What have I got going on? And then just sitting there for just a minute, I found the IP address. I found where that feeling was coming from. I was able to get it into a better vibration and take my energy back. Because those IP addresses, every one of them that you've put energy into, that's where your energy's at. Still creating, still doing its thing. I really like the new way of looking at it, as my focus is energy. It helped me kind of think around the new digital age and what could be causing what we're seeing everywhere. It's like, what is going on? Well, when I looked at it through that lens, it made perfect sense. Well, you get thousands and thousands and thousands of people in a group or groups or whatever, thinking and focusing in negative ways. Yeah, that's a lot of energy. But that's where all their energy's going. And I hear from people all the time, I'm just so exhausted. I'm just so tired. I just can't. Well, if you're not doing things that brings energy, like walking, grounding yourself from time to time, and if you live in Europe, going to the energy centers, there's lots of energy rolling through that place, I tell you. If you can't get there, well then, if you're not doing things that increase your chi energy, and at the same time, you're focused in ways that would send your energy off in these directions, because you know, I didn't know or realize that my focus could have energy attached to it. It's just a completely different way to look at it. But just like every time there's something new that comes into my reality, there's always a learning curve. And I think for this one, the learning curve is until it's understood that just because there's no consequences to getting on social media and being mean and negative, and you can go be mean to someone and be, say hurtful things to them. Just because you're behind the screen doesn't mean that your energy's not doing something, because it is. And I looked around at, well, what do I pay attention to online? What am I looking at? Is this negative? Am I giving my energy away to something else that where I don't want it to go? And every day it seems like I just get more and more energy back. I have the energy to walk and do the things I need to do. I've been able to go into some areas in my past where some of my energy was probably locked up there and get that loose and heal that. I think it's a lot of work, but I just know somehow that it's just worth it, because as you get your energy back, then you have enough energy to start doing the things that you want to do in your life, and focus in the right ways, and putting your energy to work for you instead of giving your energy away to something that you see is bigger than you, a group of people, a cult, whatever you want to call them, all these groups that we have popping up everywhere. You're giving your energy to things like that, which is your focus. And yeah, there'll be some things that you would want to focus on, because you're that's where you want to put your energy there. And I think that if you get to a point where you're aware that your focus is energy, and then you really start putting the focus on the things that's going to bring you what you want, I think you'll see things shift in a really quick way. Especially if you can go and focus yourself at a coordinate that has a lot of energy, then you're attaching that energy to that IP address that you're creating. So I wanted to look in a little bit more about how the digital age is affecting culture, and how culture is affecting the digital age. It goes back and forth. And maybe humanity needed something like a digital age, because a lot of what I see bubbling up, I think was already there. It wasn't talked about. And it's like, okay, let's not look over there. And I can see why. It was just complicated. Nobody knew or understood what was actually happening, especially since most people that are here have lost track of their ancestry. They don't know where they came from, or where I'm from here, it's something in the 1800s, and that's where it just stops. Nobody knows anything before that. I was talking to my mom the other day, and she's 80. And I said, "Hey, Mom, looks like in history there's just some weird things going on." Did you see anything weird, or did anybody tell you anything strange? And she started talking, and I could just feel this vibe and of fear, you know, and she was just like, yeah, these people came. So see, it was an outside force. She said these people came. I'm from New Mexico. Where my people and the Indians, they worked together. They traded, they knew each other, they lived life together. They were just all there. It wasn't a war, it wasn't a problem. And my mom said that they came in and started taking all the babies away from the mothers. And so and I said, I said, did you see it happening? And she said, yes. She said, I didn't physically see it, but when, you know, the family would come over and talk, they would talk about it. And so there was definitely something going on. And my family line has lost its data, lost its information of where we came from. And so it's basically, it seems like everybody's trying to piece everything back together. And I think each time, you know, something like that happens, I do think as energy, you know, it's just going to evolve and grow and become more, because we're energy. You can't destroy energy. It just changes form. So see how the energy changes form. See, that kind of ties back in with, you know, if you're focused in a way and you're in a negative thought, it's still your energy. You've just changed its form a little bit. It's negative, and you're still giving energy to that, whatever it is. So say, for instance, you got mad at something when you were young, and then you keep focusing on it. By the time you're an adult, that thing has so much momentum to it that, you know, it's like trying to put your foot out going down the highway to stop your bicycle. It's just, there's so much momentum, it's just going so fast, you can't really change the vibe or the energy there. It has to be done like in segments, you know, like eating an apple, take a bite at a time. So I'm gonna just continue on this thought because I think it's really interesting. I see some bigger pieces of the puzzle falling into place. And what I've been doing is noticing where my focus is throughout my day. If I have an experience and I feel something, positive or negative, I'll go right down that IP address. What is this? What's here? Because it's all just information, isn't it? All is information, all is mind. Being expressed here in a 3D reality. Isn't that something? Everybody enjoy your day and find some sweet things to focus on. We have lots of little baby squirrels this year. There was a lot of rain here, and so we just had a huge explosion of these little guys right here. And they haven't learned that you need to stay kind of up in the con trees a little bit. Here he goes. And there's tons of these guys. What happens though is they have to learn the hard way that they can't just be running around everywhere they want. Yeah, you need to go get in your tree and learn that. Them hawks gonna get you. We have lots of hawks, and they're gonna be coming for the ones that are just out in the open. But they're everywhere. They're so cute though. I'm not telling them. Here's one right here. Let's see what he does. Ah, you're doing good. You're doing good. You're gonna make it through the hawk brigade that's coming through here. I had some the other day that I was walking up to, and they just stand there looking at me. So I went ahead and went boo. so that they won't be just so chill. But you know how it is. Hawks gotta eat too. Well, I'm gonna go and get on with my day. Go take care of some things and mind where I'm focused and be aware and just let things happen as they happen. It's all just there to learn and grow. Y'all have a wonderful day.